Hey guys, so today I'm going to go over what I picked up at the gun show.
This day is set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our civilization and to set free a suffering humanity.
So this past weekend I posted a couple of review videos of stuff, basically milsurps that I found. And I just kind of wanted to go over some of the stuff that I personally picked up. So I started off walking into the gun show, and this caught my eye. This is a Red Star knockoff of the Colt 4-power scope that came out at the end of Vietnam and stayed in the service into the early 2000s. I got a buddy of mine who went to Iraq, and he actually, when he invaded Iraq, he actually had that scope mounted to his M4. So that caught my eye right off the bat. I've been trying to find one, especially for a deal, something like that, you know. So what I actually decided to do, it was actually on this M16A2. It was mounted on there. And I was like, all right, how much you want for the scope? And he was like, well, dude, I don't really know. He says, you know, I don't even know what it's worth. I just threw it on there because I dug it through my pile, and I thought it looked cool, thought it would help the gun sell. You know, so I don't really know. He starts pulling out his phone. He starts digging around, trying to figure out how much it's worth. He couldn't find one online, so I was like, okay. So I said, well, how much for the rifle in its entirety? And he said, well, $700. And I'm like, okay, all right, I can do that. So I went around and looked at his other table. This private dealer. So I was like, okay, private dealer, you know, cash. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, I can do that. Well, this is the other thing I found. He had a Smith & Wesson Model 10-5. This is a vintage gun from like the 60s. This is a 38 Special. I really wanted one of these. I had my grandfather, his backup gun was a Model 36. It's basically a scaled down version of this. It actually looks identical. Give me 1 minute. I'll actually pull it out of my safe. This is it right here. This is my grandfather's Model 36. And I really wanted something that would kind of match, because this is a very sentimental gun, but I really like carrying a 38. I really like carrying something compact. Well, I've got really big hands, so this third Model 36 wasn't really beefy enough for me, but I really like these vintage Tyler grip type deals that go on the frame. I really like that. So when I saw this, I was like, man, that's the way to go. I was like, that's a scaled up version of what I've already got. In addition, it's not a 5-shot, it's actually a 6-shot, which from what I read online, a 6-shot Model 10 with a snub nose is actually a rarer gun. Now, you might say, well, it's got some finish loss. Yeah, but this is going to be my everyday carry, so what someone else has already done doesn't really bother me. You know, what would bother me is if I did it. So if I can get a good deal on it, then that's what I decided to do. So he told me $450 on it. I said, okay. So I said, well, how about we do $1,000 for the both? He said, okay. So I went to the bank, got the money, came home, and I got this nice M16A2, that Smith & Wesson 38, and that scope. So that was a pretty good deal. Went to the bank. For whatever reason, I saw some other stuff in the gun show. I said, you know what? Let me just pull out an extra $600, and let's see how it goes. So as I'm pulling up into the parking lot and get these two guns, I saw a guy carrying an M1 carbine. I've got an M1 carbine over here. That's not actually the carbine I bought at this gun show. I've had that one for a while, but I saw it and I was like, oh, snap, you know, because sometimes you can jump on those guns in the parking lot pretty quick and actually get a pretty good deal. That's why dudes at the gun show like to get their tables at the front, because a lot of these guys will buy walk-in guns and immediately just upcharge them and put them back on the table the minute they get them. So for me, I was like, oh boy, M1 carbine, let's see what we can do, because carbines are kind of going back up a little bit. I think they need to be around the $900,000, $1,000 range, but the ones I saw at the gun show here in Louisiana were $1,800 plus, and I'm like, that is not happening. So as I go over to this truck, I pull it out and look at it. It's a Universal And dude, I'm telling you, it had been so bubbled up. They had basically what they had done is they had ground off the rear sight completely off. I mean, that was flush. It was marked universal. And then what they had done was they had taken some sort of another sight and they had cut a square in the handguard and put a rear sight right here. I was like, no way, dude, not interested. Not even close to being interested. I said, do you get anything else? He said, yeah. And he pulls out this beautiful 1953 SKS. It's a Russian with the blade bayonet. I saw the wood. I saw the finish. And that's just a light scratch. Not really that big a deal. But, man, I saw the wood. I just saw how clean it was. Everything was matching. Let's see if that'll focus. Yeah, I saw it was matching. And I was like, dude, how much you want for that? And of course, if you start drooling over guns in the parking lot, they're going to ask you for more. He said $550. I said, well, how about $500? And he's like, well, yeah, I don't know. I said, well, I got $550. I said, I got $500 in the car. He said, okay, I'll do it. He said, well, do you have any ammo? Well, I said, do you have any ammo? He said, yeah, I do. I got 570 rounds of ammo, which is laying right over here. So pick this up as well. 570 rounds of ammo. And I asked him how much, and he said, I think he said 150. And I had, at the time, I think I had $100 left. Yeah, I had $100 left. And I think I had some change. So I think he ended up taking like $145. I think he took $145 for 570 rounds of ammo and $500 for the SKS. So I walked out of the gun show for about $1,600 and some change for an M16A2, a SKS Russian SKS, a Model 10 38 revolver, the scope, and 570 rounds of ammo. So I thought I did really good. I think there's some good deals out there. You just got to have to kind of wheel and deal a little bit. I actually have another video I'm going to do real quick on something else that I'm working on. But I'm doing this video just so you guys can kind of say to yourself, well, because here's the thing. I've already got an M16A2 clone, but I wanted the scope. The scope I looked online. I don't know. I'm having a hard time finding them. Brownells actually makes a really upgraded clone that's actually Colt branded. So I think the Red Star market, I think Red Star just quit making them just because there's, you can get a higher quality. And I don't even think those hold their zero too well. But this rifle is actually a 22 long rifle, Colt M4. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw that on my Colt 22. And I'm going to tell you, a 4-power scope on a 22, I guarantee I'm going to be able to plink with that pretty well. But so I think I did pretty good. Like I said, I don't really want the M16A2. So, I've got 700 in it minus the value of the scope. So probably what I'll do, just to kind of show y'all my strategy, is go back to another gun show, either trade for a Milsurp rifle that I want, or just sell it outright for cash and then recoup on some of my investment. Because, at the end of the day, if I got $1,000 out of that rifle, then I'd only have about $650 for a revolver, a scope, 570 rounds of ammo of 7.62 by 39, and an SKS. And I also forgot to mention, I picked up something else. There was a guy there who had a whole bunch of Milsurp takeoffs carry handles, and this was the cleanest one he had. It's a Cardinal. It's a Keyhole 6. If you guys know in what that code means, let me know. The lady that I bought it from, she seemed to know all of the codes. She said that Colt and FN and some of the higher end makers of M16s and M4s used that manufacturer, that subcontractor. So if you guys know anything about the forge codes on those carry handles, let me know. But you guys like and follow for more. I got tons of little videos like this I'm probably going to put up for just gun show advice and tips and tricks. And you guys come back and check me out for more. Thanks.